While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Rena. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live. My home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. Oh, that would be really funny if it just went down to $60. If it went down to, like, what a video game should actually cost. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomitake-san's. I headed towards it. There he is. He's so... I'm sorry, I'm gonna simp for Tomitake, like, almost every time he's on screen. No, it's not a normal price, and I'm not gonna pretend it is. How did it go, Tomitake-san? Were you able to get some good shots? Yeah, fortunately. Tomitake-san was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding. How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival? Oh, that was supposed to be her. Okay, I see. From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Well, it was fun. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name, because she gave a lighthearted chuckle. It's probably because it hasn't been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe, seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. That's what I'm saying. If that's how it looked, it was probably all thanks to Rena and Mion. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinamizawa after taking part in the festival today? I wonder about that. Oh, that's not like you. I had tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well. Oh. You're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not so much as feeling left out. It's just, I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site. The fighting over it and other conflicts. That terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that happened here. If it will put you at ease, then I'll tell you everything I know. Tomitake-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. Wow, that's a lot of hyperbole. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything," though. Even when there was so much I wanted to ask. Then, could you tell me about what happened when the dam was being constructed? There was a big incident where Hinamizawa was supposed to be submerged, right? I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the newspaper, though. Tomitake-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it was the next major project after Kurobe. There were 3 major issues in Japan at that time. Improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electrical and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area, right up to Yaogoichi way upstream, would be underwater. But why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinamizawa? Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not really sure why, but I heard it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said there was a battle. From that choice of words, I had to guess things had turned violent. There was a trial, and it was even brought up before the National Diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Neon had told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know, now was my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little shame that I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rena and Neon's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance, just so I would stop thinking about it so much. So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. I happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tomitake-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced-out question. It was about this time, 4 years ago. It was the day of the Wataganashi, if I recall correctly. So it was 4 years ago today, exactly. Debate on whether or not to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but one was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rena and Neon needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who'd just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it. It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. So everyone was saying that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recalled correctly. You see, their guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa. Apparently the younger ones didn't think so. But it seems the elderly in the village never doubted that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman with Tomitake said with a mischievous chuckle. Tomitake-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious that I ended up laughing as well. But I wonder about that now. Okay, we need to, because this is a new character, real quick, you know what we gotta do. God! It never gets easier. I never get used to it. I never... She looks so fucking wild. I mean, Tomitake's gotta be the worst looking one, mostly because of the yellow camera. Yeah, no, the man titties are a lot. He's supposed to be ripped. Like, the text states that he is very fit. And, like, what's going on with bro? Okay, we're gonna switch back, but I needed you to see what she looks like. There we go. And then they turn into humans. He's built like Homer Simpson. But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think. Amongst the youth, too. A few... what? People who believe in Oyoshiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then after that, it continued every year. Always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tomitake-san paused for a second as if to build up some suspense. Then he whispered to me, as if someone might have been listening. Every year, on the day of the Wataganashi, somebody dies. Yeah, so everybody being chibified those are the original sprites that this game released with, because it was all done by one dude. And he didn't really have it like that in terms of art. I'm sorry, I had to adjust something real quick, and that was just a very fun line to pause on. The year following the dismemberment, on the day of the Wataganashi, a man from Hinamizawa who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers amongst the elders saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again. And the next year, the night of the Wataganashi, the shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The shrine's Shinto priest? You mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded. There was a rumor amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Then the year after that, again on the night of the Wataganashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam or who had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too? Exactly, the woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly. One of the victim's relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before. Mysterious death, so true, Harish, hi. The younger brother is still alive, it seems. Yo, what up, Pyon? How's it going? With the Persona 4 group in this game, we'll solve it day one. Their ass is not solving nothing. But it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to the neighboring town. Naoto maybe could solve it. Don't mess with the investigation group, we don't know shit. For a while, I stood there with my mouth agape. John, do you not know what happens in chapter 1 of Higurashi? You're a visual novel fan, but no worries. No worries. Feel free to dip in and dip out. I appreciate you coming in and saying hi. I'm replaying 4 and holy shit, they're so fucking stupid. Oh, they're so goofy. Their asses are so goofy. You think Chie's gonna solve a mystery? Like, I like Chie, but Naoto is like probably the only smart one, like even a little. The battle over the dam construction, with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide. Body disposal. Oh yeah, I forgot who the second victim was in Persona. They had no idea what they were doing. Didn't want to read chapter 1 until I got the entire thing. Fair. Yeah, Chie, if it involved grilled meat, she could Accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Wataganashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction? It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves, but when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. Yeah, Narukami does seem like he's smarter than like everyone else but Naoto. I like that they made Yukiko a fail cell despite being pretty. I like the girl with the handbag. Just real quick, if anyone hadn't seen original, just real quick, had to show that. Okay, let's switch it back. Yeah, being a fail cell really is Yukiko's best quality. I don't believe in curses, but every single year on the day of the Wataganashi, somebody or something makes it happen, without fail. The woman chuckled again, as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, maybe we frightened him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomitake-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone. Then? So someone died the next year, right? Who was it that time? I wonder. Who do you think, Keiichi-kun? That is such a weird way to answer that question. The hell? The way you said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off. I actually agree. Don't avoid the question. I'm serious here. Hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun. I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. It's just, when you say the next year, that's today. Ooh, that was a good song switch. Are the characters looking at you? Yeah. You play as Keiichi, and it's from Keiichi's point of view. When she hesitated to say it, Tomitake-san finished for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed. Who is Keiichi? He's main character-kun. POV, you're the protag in a horror VN? What do you mean it's a domestic life? He's a boy that moved to this village a month ago. That's basically really all we know about Keiichi. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again today. Tonight. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Thank you, Spade. The festival was so cheerful, though. Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. It turns out she didn't even attend the Wataganashi festival. There was a rumor going around that if you didn't participate in the festival, you would incur Oyoshiro-sama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of that rumor. She voted no on Will It Kill. I'm sorry to say, chat room. There was another murder on the night of the Wataganashi festival. Then the reason everyone was at the festival was they were afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people at the Wataganashi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid, after all, of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I couldn't utter a single word. It's a little unclear who's talking sometimes. If no character's face has changed, it's probably Keiichi talking, and if a character's face just changed, it's likely them talking. But it's like, there's no text box that says it. Oh, Keiichi's about to go on a soliloquy here. Actually, visual novels are awesome. I should play them more. They are, but playing them can feel kind of lonely, which is why I'm playing it on stream, because it's like, hey, I'm gonna read y'all a book. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television had been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon. Black and white television had been eradicated is a wild sentence. Even with all of our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society? Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring towns' youth groups to help pad the numbers. But after that string of events, few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. Also, the police are treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected. They're trying to keep it quiet, so it's all plainclothes officers. It finally began to dawn on me why Rena and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Wataganashi, everything would have been over with and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up just being crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we would have all gotten back to life as usual. Don't forget that the principal's jump fierce is a multi-hitting normal. This is true. Maybe it was just too much for him after all. The woman ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed. I love this bitch. She's such a terrible person. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomitake-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such things as curses. Well, no. If the cause of all the crimes were unknown, with the perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I would think it's the work of a curse. But that's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the evidence and suspects to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. That's one of us. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. The first one, dismemberment for example. I told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested. It's only a matter of time for the last one. The motive had turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse. Don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Wataganashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all. The accidental death of the man who supported the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident, not foul play. But they both happened on the day of the festival, right? Just think about it, Keiichi-kun. Do you think that people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa could participate easily in a local festival? It would be especially hard for them to be around during the Wataganashi. So they probably left Hinamizawa intentional around this time of year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitake was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions so that I could convince myself. Then, Tomitake-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one with the unknown illness? That also happened on the day of the festival. It's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Wataganashi is a really big event that happens once a year. It was probably from all the built-up stress. Or it may have been because of a pre-existing condition. But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe that something with an unknown illness could exist with all our advances in medicine. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural, though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know? Turns out it was just a sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, correct? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was shaken up by the incidents happening for a third year. Those who are of strong faith were quick to believe it was the work of the curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well, then, how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened on the day of the Wataganashi, too. The perpetrator has already been caught and the case has been closed. Turns out it was just some nutjob trying to continue the legacy of the Hinamizawa curse. Then, how about the incident the next year? Oh yeah, this year is the next year. Tomitake-san gave a hearty laugh. Oh, look, somebody died every year on this day in the village in a strange way. But there's a regular explanation for all of them. Nothing will happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just that a group of people believed it was the explanation for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. Yeah, good point, Cameron. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinamizawa. Even if Oyashiro-sama's curse actually did exist, Keiichi-kun couldn't bring himself to believe that such a thing existed. I mean, there would be no reason to worry if they weren't in a horror game. I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything that I heard tonight. I'll greet Rena and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening in stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on. Well then, I should be getting back. Goodness, I think I may have gone on a bit too long. There were so few people compared to the crowd from before, I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed we'd been talking for the better part of an hour. Didn't you come with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Not going to look for them? Oh, yeah. They might all be looking for me. You're quite the scoundrel making the girls look for you. See you, Keiichi-kun. Have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you a bit later. Yo. How fucking are they? They were just like out here in the middle of nowhere. We just learned Tomitake's first name because she's the first person to use it, and I'll see you a bit later? Okay. Tomitake-san seems to be quite the scoundrel himself, though his name is Jiro. Keiichi had the same thought as me. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds. The total shift! I mean, it's Higurashi, so yes. I can't pop off every time there's a goofy-ass tonal shift, but oh my god. Keiichi-kun! So sorry. I'm free from Valorant, finally. This music, it's the goofy music. This is Rena's goofy theme. Welcome properly, Lilybat. Is this Mario music? It might as well be. In her place, Rena came running over. Oh, welcome aboard, Lilybat. Happy to have you. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil. My bad, Kei-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion. I'd completely forgotten about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we were even. My, so Tomitake-san was with you. This works out perfectly. We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition. Oh, I forgot that he was still here. Ah, that's right. So I guess I'm gonna end up dead last? In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger. But there weren't many targets left. We're going back to the shooting gallery? The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She was going to end up sharing the loser's crown with Tomitake-san. However, she did her little mewing cry in front of the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. He was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster. I have no idea what Keiichi is talking about. Now then, it's decided that Tomitake-san is dead last. Was Loki expecting her to be fucking cracked at shooting? It would make sense, right? Based on what we know about Rika-chan, which is nothing. Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomitake-san smiled wryly, slightly bewildered. Rika activates Deadeye. So, Tomitake-san, are you ready? Penalty time! Huh? Oh, I completely forgot about that. You're too naive, Tomitake-san. This is why our club can never lose. Mion pulled a felt-tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that. So the Ryukishi art is randomly switched to extremely rarely? That would actually be an amazing mod. Show him some mercy, Mion. At least use a washable marker. Permanent one is too harsh. Yeah, he's gonna go... He needs to go have sex later. It just has to be permanent. It comes off when you do the laundry anyway. Whoa, whoa, what is this? Please take it easy on me. All of us pinned his arms behind his back, and Mion approached him with the marker in one hand. He could just Galactica Phantom these kids if he wanted to. And squip, squip, squip. But she didn't write on Tomitake-san's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You'd better have your big break this year, Mion. Rena took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Rena. Oh wait, this is really sweet. It was a little heartwarming and I just had to laugh. This is more like a farewell card than a penalty. I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Haha, dead last. Sadako. Try harder next time. Rika. When I was in high school, I had everyone sign my shirt, and I think I still have them. She just... Wait, that's cute. Like at graduation? Here you go, Keiichi-san. I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again. Keiichi. Tomitake-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face. So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty? Of course! You better wear it all the way home. You could wear it when you come back. It would be nice. He appeared deeply moved. So true, look at him, he's deeply moved right now. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red. Understood. I'll wear this the next time I come here. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomitake-san standing near the festival grounds. It It seemed that Tomitake-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave. Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it about time? Hmm? Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. So this is why Mion was like, hey Tomitake-san, do a great job tonight, take lots of pictures. Because she knew he was gonna fuck tonight. Mion's incredible. I love her. Tomitake-san headed off toward her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomitake-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. He's like, kids, get the fuck out. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before. He's gone. Well, it's about time we take off too. Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Sadako was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. Like these two girls that I joke about my dick with. The walk back was quite lively, with the talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Rena and I parted ways with Mion, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house, and I parted ways with Rena as well. It's already pretty late. Are you alright by yourself? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's close. I'm gonna run, too. If you run into some weirdo, just yell. If someone does come, will you come and save me? Maybe? Maybe? If I hear you. Oh, okay. I'll scream loud enough that you can hear me. Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Rena dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Rena's cheerful presence disappeared and it finally became quiet again. The curse that not a single person even whispered about. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. Those shadows sure were for. Rena will simply pile bunker them. Dandy step Rena. It didn't show on any of their faces. They were probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up being just crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad. Nothing at all. What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in a place like that? Come inside. You'll catch a cold. It was my mom. Did you go, Mom? To the Wataganashi festival? In the end, your father didn't wake up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Just a big pause there. Higurashi, when they cry. Oh my god! We got 4 tips. Hojo couples falling incident. Hey, remember when people were like, hey, what's up with Sadako? Does Keiichi know anything about Sadako's parents? He does not. Anyway, let's read this newspaper article. Maybe there'll be a funny ad for a bracelet. Hojo Sadako is her name. Oh my god, we got 4 tips. Me when it's a good day to be a waiter. Hi, BZ. Welcome, welcome. From the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of Redacted at 2 p.m., office employee Redacted and his wife Redacted of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in the Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of Redacted at about 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, Redacted, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared that a railing at the observatory that the X's leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. That's all. Rip Wacky Fun Club Games Club time. The plot is advancing a little bit. What's up, Merche? When you wait for the waiter, do you not become the waiter? So that's interesting. Their name was blurred out in the newspaper article, but it's called Hojo Couple's Falling Incident. The terminal illness death of Shinto priest Furude. From the June 1981 edition, on the afternoon of Redacted, around 10 p.m. in the Redacted district of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after Redacted's death, his wife Redacted went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given that the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onikakushi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. Okay, but the fact that they say that the marsh is bottomless doesn't mean that it is. Like, you could still search it. I need something that makes me nauseous with discomfort. Some parts of this probably will when we get to them, and I could recommend you some other stuff. I'd love the awful shit that happens in this game. It's great. Murder of the housewife incident. So this is 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So the first quote-unquote victims of the Oyoshiro-sama curse were Sadako's parents. That's interesting. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Oh, it was a fake one! The murder of the housewife was not reported in the newspaper, and that's the whole tip. Yo, Hiro Rosa, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Poor Sadako, it's true. Radio log. This is Okinomiya Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3. Loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. Yeah, it's going good, Hiro. We're doing some Higurashi. I have been reading good old book 1, Onikakushi-hen. It's been goofy, it's been fun, and it's starting to get a little dreadful, which is also cool. Welcome, welcome. Oh, it's a little bit of daily school life music. Nothing to worry about. Good morning. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so bad yourself, Mion. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right. H-kun, thank you very much. For Mr. Bear. I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. That should have a question mark. I'm like, yeah, me, who would? Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom. But the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water. And unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Caught his ass sleeping. Keiichi-san flicked my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Dropkick these children. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I'd had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Keiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? She talks like fucking Spamton G. Spamton. I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class. He thinks he's so witty. You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. I'll suck your cock for 57 kromer. Okay then. This time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am." What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. That line is incredible. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening! Today, let's play a classical game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game. It seems that Rena can't handle this kind of game very well. It's probably Clue, right? The rules are... Yeah, it's Clue. The person who can match the murderer, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see the names Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. Oh, this is going to be referenced later on, isn't it? Well, we've only played Old Bachelor, Zombie Tag. Yeah, you know, the games are relevant. That's the most spoiler-free thing I can say. The games have cinematic parallels with stuff that has either happened, is happening, or is going to happen. Yes, I will admit that. I think it's more interesting if you know that. Because otherwise it's something that you only get on your second read of the game. There are plenty of other weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too. Like the living room, the study, and the courtyard. I'm so excited about it. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. What is Among Us but TTT for babies? So true. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends even if no one gets it right, the cards are all gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. I feel like they are literally talking to the reader of Higurashi When They Cry, the visual novel right now. The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. Oh, hey Joey! What's up? Thank you for the posture check and the hydrate. Let me do that. The penalty is murder. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. How's it going, Joey? I hope you're doing well. You're just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Stream's going well. It's just happy school hijinks. Although things are getting a little, things are getting a little. Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking? I will throw my soul at Xenoblade again until I pass out. Are you enjoying the DLC? Is it good? Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. Y'all, I was trying to figure out the name of this song, and I've been having such a hard time finding it. If you know the name of this song, please. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out, but that meant all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Family planning manual? It's a euphemism, but I don't know for what. Joey, I read that whole message. Bioluminescent Bob. No! And I'll go first, since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, Knife, Study. That's his actual name? Why would they write their names as suspects that... Why would you do that? They could have used... If they couldn't use the name Clue and use like Professor Plum and all that, they could have just used random names, but they're like, yeah, let's just do this. God, someday I'll play Xenoblade 3 after I finish 2 and also finish 1 and start 2. You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Does anyone actually fuck with Clue? I like Clue. I haven't played it in a long time, but I think it's fun. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, Knife, and Study. So that means that Mion, Knife, and Study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down. Then I'll go. Rena, Axe, Lounge. Rena gave herself the axe, huh? Only 2 people said they had one? So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime? No. Wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Sadako or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead. Wait just a little. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Man, this feels like it's gonna be tough. He's missing the biggest part of Clue, though, which is that you can say stuff that you have. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Mion now just raises her hand. The murderer is Rika-chan in the infirmary with the poison. Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. You were right. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rena and I were left out in the cold, though. Normal statement. She seems nice. True, true, true. How did you do, Cage-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry, I had no idea either. Average Twitter user? That's a screenshot with this tweet has been deleted above it. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple. What if we ended up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide? What the fuck is that? Is it porn? Like what? Is it a book that teaches you how to have sex? I actually don't know. It's obviously... My mind goes to... Yeah, I was thinking birth control, but the word guide is like fucking with me. But yeah, it's probably condoms or something. I can tell from Keiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game. The Kama Sutra? That, Lily, that's also where my brain went, but I'm like, that can't be that. What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round. My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka! Sorry, need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Mi-chan, that's gross. The corner store probably doesn't carry the Kama Sutra. Oh, the Bushido in the bedroom book from FF6, hell yeah. I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over toward me. H-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. Lily, you're so right. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one. So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty? Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us. But how can we? I brought my lips up to Rena's ear. Splash, splash, splash. Collusion! Lily, there's a case for it, certainly. Huh? Is that allowed? Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory. Yeah, I'll try my best. TOs crushed their balls. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everybody else. Having this much information would mean we'd need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, we start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this, we can probably win. If the clone... Yeah, that is true, Lily. That is also true. That does help. If the quotation closes and a new quotation line starts. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Spade. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Rena was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Then let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh, sorry. Then what should we do? Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later, because both Rena and I would start winning over and over again. Both Rena and I will have earned enough points to avoid being losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. Maibara-kun, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. I didn't know how sultry to read that Maibara-kun because it had a tilde, and tilde just makes me want to be a whore. Man, things were just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit... You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. Same, we know, Proxy, we know. Well, listen. Tildes are like whore indicator. Tilde is just like, I am a whore. Please observe the tilde. They have been waiting. Please hurry. It was rather unfortunate that I have someone raiding on me right before my big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. Put that tilde away, Lilypat 2023. She'd never say that. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. Like I told Spade that? Wait, that's incredible. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Please note the tilde, so that I may suck your dick. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened, and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Are you Maibara-san? Maibara Keiichi-san? There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, I'd been running into so many middle-aged men. Well, you know what it's time for. The ritual. New character spotted. Oh my god, I can't wait. I can't wait! I'm so excited to click this button. Now, who wouldn't let this man fuck? He's how I feel. Vile, vile, disgusting man. He's actually a lot more intimidating in his new sprite. Y'all, he's had the yes of one of Faust's X8IKs. He's built like a McDonald's. He has the eyes of one of Faust's X8IKs. I see. But like the water boss from Makalania Woods. So true. I forget who's talking. That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? That man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. Keiichi, no! You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get in his car with him? I'm not going to bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. Keiichi! Bro got in the car, though. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. It's 1983, by the way. Shiumi on my neko till I flipped the chessboard all over? Keiichi said I could take him. Mio said in a fight. Welcome, Iris. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So, what business do you have with me? Oh, Satir, if you have that song, you can post it in the chat. I have links turned back on. Or you can just post the name of it. Either way would be great. Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was a face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Oh, it's Spinning Seesaw. Thank you, Axe. I just remembered to take a shower. Hey, Iris. Good girl. Mion would say anally, right? Yeah, she would. Who the heck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from the expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker. Starting with yours, Maibara-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well. Huh? This is Tometake-san? There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Then, do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomitake-san last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. When was the last time you saw these two? The night of the Wadaganashi. We spoke. They seem pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. How's the music, by the way? Can you hear it? Is it straight up called the Department of Motor Vehicles in Japan, too? I don't think so. It's pants shittingly, ma'am? Okay, I had to turn up my own music. I turned it up on my end. I can hear it now. Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus, I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, certain, that this guy was a cop. And why? Why was he asking about Tomitake-san? Something happened to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. It's true, they're both just Japanese men. After a long pause, he finally spoke again. You've moved here just recently, isn't that right, Maibara-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro-sama? No, you're not out of line. You're not out of line, Joey. I'm from Chicago. I understand. My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. Joey, you're just right. It probably showed on my face. Not at all? If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomitake-san told me, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. Oh right, there was 4. The dismemberment killing was the first one. Sadako's parents were the second. Then the priest of the Furude shrine and his wife, and the housewife that we don't know anything about. He's 15, he doesn't know fuck 12 yet. This is true. The incidents that always happen the day of the Wadaganashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomitake-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think that there was anything more than that. Do you know of that, well, curse, Maibara-san? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. Damn, did you hear when they cried? I know it's right on the box, but it's still good every time they do it. Also, like, the guy is probably dead, so, like, I feel like cooperating with the police about a gross murder might not be the worst idea in the world, maybe. It's true. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you just get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. There is a big forced pause there. My mind went blank. Huh? What happened to Tomitake-san? It would seem that he died last night. That was the night of the Wadaganashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maibara-san? Implications? Not for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Wadaganashi. Meaning, this year, the curse of Yoshiro-sama had once again... The death of Tomitake Jiro is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. Ooh, this music is... Oh, no. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least, that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. Continues to just tell him what happened. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? The death is confidential, 15-year-old kid. Please tell nobody in this small town, which are notorious for rumors. Down past the slope, on the shoulder around there. There were a few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. Adachi vibes, TBH? It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. I am just now realizing that P4 has to be inspired in some ways by Higurashi. Tomitake-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first. But when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? With those, he clawed through... From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was a suicide. Tomitake-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat. As hard as he could with his own nails. Or through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Tomitake-san didn't stop. Continued clawing. With enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails. Still clawing. Still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. I trust Ryushiki did not have bad writing, so I have to wonder why the guy is... Oh, that was not the cop describing it. That bit was Keiichi, thinking about it. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But this, it was suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died. In these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomitake-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. No, but the cop revealing the information? Yeah, that's very fair. That's a great question. You should be asking questions like that. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. That was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat. Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails with it. What? That wasn't a strange thing to ask, Lily. That's a very normal thing to ask. Of course you are. Hey, Lily. Good girl. Thanks for the assist, Joey. Tomitake-san's blood was found all over the place. Meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomitake-san. There is a high probability that Tomitake-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomitake-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic, after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then, he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomitake-san at the festival. I'm so bad at typox, so true, homie. Everyone signed Tomitake's shirt and parted ways. Right after that, oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and hasn't returned home either. There is a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to someone close to me could affect me this deeply. Time I had spent with Tomitake-san was short. But we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyoshiro-sama's curse, the villagers aren't very cooperative. That I knew very well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake-san, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry that that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me. If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Tomitake-jiro died from Oyoshiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance. The night of I've been saying Wataganashi wrong the whole time. It's Watanagaishi. The day of the Watanagaishi festival. During the sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Oyoshiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. Oh shit! During Rika-chan's dance, during the ceremony, everyone was completely quiet, except for Tomitake taking pictures. They pointed that out during the ritual. There's no way Oyoshiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group no less. There's no way I'm going to end up let this being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. That's how this must be, my Bara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomitake-san nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomitake-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. But there is nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No. If you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear, he was talking in the future tense. Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomitake-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Ooh. Thank you for the posture check and the hydrate games. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well. Especially from Sonozaki-san and Furude-san. Please do not inform them. Huh. Whose last name is Furude? Oh, it's the one character whose last name that we don't know yet, I guess. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident? With my friends' names brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved, and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Wataganaishi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Wataganaishi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa? First, it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager who supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die one after the other for mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So, the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute. But he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will toward him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about that housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of a supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomitake-san? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Then, next year's victim, they're just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the victims, my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? But what does that have to do with Mion? Copman seems to not understand it's a small town and literally everyone knows everyone else. It's true. I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Sonozaki Mion-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. Oh, sorry she's based. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This was the first I had heard of her family leading the protests, though. And, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. Mion is good with guns, that is true. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seems that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and be made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they didn't have to worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as he was, but it couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Oishi, from the Okinomiya police station? You can call me Kura-chan if you want. No. Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. That's a good descriptor. Though I'd never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened, and with a click, in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was an almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maibara-san. There is enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I see or hear anything, but I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. Also because you've been sitting in an air-conditioned car for half an hour. Yeah, that would make the outside seem hotter. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Maibara-kun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think there was the possibility of a village conspiracy? Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Sadako, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tometake-san? Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here? Somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's Mi-chan, the perpetrator. Well, this one's fun. Oh yeah, they were playing Clue. Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice. With the rope in the lounge. Nope. No. Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow. Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. I love Sadako. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. What a normal human being sentence, true. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing in last place? Bro snapped back into this so quickly? Like... I'm pissed if you couldn't tell. Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 points. How? The heck? Your score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or both Kei-chan and Rena. How? I'm remembering the Higurashi rap now for some reason. You mean, do you know Oyashiro-sama? Yes, Hinamizawa. That one? That one's good. Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself. I kill you, you kill me. No, Hinamizawa. It's so good! We made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know? You know? I'm sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it! The murderer is me! With the poison at the entrance. Is it? Is it? My, Rena. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh. Rena's correct. Oh! Then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best. Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. In dead last are Maibara Keiichi and Ryugu Rena. Everyone applauded and the game ended. It's a good DM, Lily-Rat. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty. Keiichi is a bro, honestly. What will she make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Oh, there's a lot written here. A lot? Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this? It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Yo, got her? I mean, but you didn't win, though. But you didn't win, you lost. Higurashi, when they cry. You've received new tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators and search notice. Oh. We all lose sometimes. That's just life. True. I mean, the Games Club motto is just simply don't get hit. Now it's time to go shopping with Keiichi and Rena. After we read these 2 things. There are more than 4 perpetrators? Simply cheat and win. Hypovolium shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue was packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah. I know that the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Some of Tomitake's fingernails had been pulled out. Oh! It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails. But it really hurts. Yeah, really? Does it? Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were a lot of bruises on Tomitake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone, or a group of people. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. And he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become? The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could have performed acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon, they only found sand and paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. That's true. Tomitake's pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. The only thing he hit was the guardrail. That's interesting. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. Dude was swinging at something else? Maybe. If a man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. The guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. Yeah, mystery's good. It's good, isn't it? To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit, you should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take this guy down, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators. So any drunken disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious? A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Oishi-san, the chief is calling you. Thanks. See you around. Yeah. Best wishes. So, that's something. And next and finally we have search notice. So the thing about the anime is all this stuff in the tips, you just don't get it. You just don't get any of it. 4 assailants, huh? Yeah, that's an interesting number, isn't it? Tome Takejiro, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name Tome Takejiro. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned by the side of the forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by the missing Takano Mio. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the past 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line? No individual matching the name Tome Takejiro in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Tome Takejiro. Takano Mio, missing. Nurse at Irie Clinic. Oh, here's our mysterious blonde woman. Became close to Tometake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya District, redacted. Okinomiya X District, redacted. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted? Maybe a suspect? An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Needed to thoroughly investigate their relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Oishi's notes are garbage.